Hello and welcome to another episode of our Speakeasy podcast. We have
John.
and I am Ken. What's up, guys?
What's up?
That looks cold.
That does look cold.
I actually see like the water condensation forming on the outside of it.
It comes from a place that's cold.
Yes, it does. The refrigerator, but it's the refrigerator in my garage. I often find that garage refrigerators, the really old ones, are extra cold and keep. It's almost like they
are.
They don't know how to function anymore, and they're like, is it too warm in here? Maybe I make it colder. Let me make it a little colder. Let me make it a little colder. And
you know what it is? The old school fridges were made correctly.
Yes, much better.
The new technology sucks.
So
you pick your own temperature. I want my fridge at 37 degrees. No.
Well, the funny thing was that fridge came with this house.
Eh?
So it was one of the ones that the people who lived here were probably like, we need a new fridge back in the 80s or something. But they're like, but Bertha's been treating us so well. I don't want to just throw it out. It still works fine. I don't want to throw something out that works fine. And then they're like, well, let's just keep it in the garage for now. And then they plug it in and okay, we'll use it for, or when we go to Costco and we get a bunch of things and we need that extra space. So they're like, when we moved here, like, do you mind if there's a refrigerator in a garage? Does it work? Yeah, it works. Okay,
hell
sure,
yeah.
Keep it in there. I'll use it we use it for ours. I'll use it for my beer or whatever.
Hell
use it
yeah.
and it became my beer fridge for a couple months until my wife's like, no, we need to start putting food in here.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right.
Same here. I got one in my basement in the laundry room.
Yeah.
My wife's work didn't want it anymore. They were getting a new updated one.
Yeah.
But this one was just fine. Like, what are you throwing it out for?
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yes.
The freezer's good. It's packed with our frozen stuff. The beer's got the bottom part of the fridge got my beer in it.
Yeah.
It's like an old GE.
Yeah.
Made in America, baby.
Exactly.
Keeps it cold.
And I will not throw. I will never throw that thing out unless it dies, which I don't think it's ever going to die.
Now these fridges are like, open, sir.
Oh my God! Yes.
The freezer's on the bottom. The freezer's got to be on the top.
Yeah, I know. And then there's like codes for everything. Oh,
Yeah.
There's this wrong. There's this wrong. There's this wrong.
Would you like your ice crushed?
Yes.
Cubed?
Yeah.
Or shoved up your ass?
It's crazy.
It's so stupid.
It's crazy. But there was a genius out there that invented the fridge with the windows in it. Because you can sit there with the fridge open for about 20 minutes looking at it.
Yeah.
At least now with the window,
Especially after a podcast. You sit there,
you just hit the light and it turns on. It shows you everything that's in there. Oh,
Pizza
okay.
from 6 days ago.
Yes.
Guacamole.
Yeah. But then you can't really look behind certain things.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's still, I think, pretty genius to do that.
Anyway.
What are we drinking here? Back to these
We
cold
have,
beers.
I'm going to blow this. We have Nordertor,
You can blow it.
Nordertor,
Nordertor.
a Northern German-Style Pilsner, coming in at 5%. And this is from Schilling Beer Company over in Littleton, New Hampshire. Have you ever been to New Hampshire?
No, but
Have I ever been to New Hampshire?
No.
Who's been to New Hampshire?
Our buddy Dom has been to New Hampshire.
I'm the beer guy.
I think that's where he got it. I think he got it from
snowboard.
He got
Right?
it
Vermont, New Hampshire.
Yeah, he got it straight from the brewery.
Hell yeah.
Dom, we're sorry we're a little bit late on this one.
We recorded this a long time ago.
Yes, this
We're
is
just
an
putting
old
it
this is
out
an
now.
old episode that
It's
we're pulling
winter.
out. Anything if it's recent news, we know the future.
Yeah.
But it's one that I'm like, I wanted to do as the pair.
Yeah. Well, you have to. Yeah. There.
Yeah, and our last episode was the Memorial Day one, so we had to do our USA theme ones, and there was always something that kept holding us back from doing it, and now we're finally here. So
Yes, we are here.
be it was like, we have a recent clip.
We are backed up in beer. We're backed up.
Yeah.
We have a lot of beer to do.
That doesn't mean that we won't take donations. But,
No. Yes.
yes.
I'll put out Ken's address at the end of the,
Yeah.
the end of the show.
We do still like variety from different states as well. That's the whole thing.
I don't know if we ever had one from New Hampshire.
Yeah, I don't know
We
either.
probably have. Tom's probably
To
given
our
us
New
one.
Hampshireites, let's see how this is.
Cheers.
Is that what you would call them, New Hampshireites?
That's good.
Dom, I'll have to say, it's
That's
still
good.
fresh, bro.
Listen,
It is still super fresh.
every time I buy a Pilsner and I bring it home, I'm like, it's all right. Every time Dom gives me a Pilsner, I'm like, this is fucking the best Pilsner I've ever had.
I think because of Dom's Pilsners, I'm more of a Pilsner guy now. I think IPAs are starting to take a back seat now, yeah.
I agree.
They're so fresh. They're so crisp. They don't have that high lactose, whatever going on.
The last few brewers I've been to, I went for the Pilsner
Yeah.
first. Even when we did Hackettstown, we
Yeah.
did like almost all Pilsners.
Yes, that's. I told you it's my go-to. You
agree.
saw that. I'm like,
I
I'll
agree.
take the Pilsner. I'll take the Pilsner.
I agree. If it's done right, it's good.
Yeah, I think it's also sometimes like once again we've talked about we're beating down this dead horse here. These IPAs, especially those lactose heavy ones, they can upset your stomach.
Yeah.
I mean,
No, good stuff. Schilling
gassy
Beer
nights.
Company.
Yeah.
Schilling. That reminds me of like
2 shillings.
yeah. Was that the Christmas Christmas
story.
movie?
Yeah.
What's his name?
Ebenezer Scrooge.
Ebenezer Scrooge. Yeah.
Christmas Carol.
And I was gonna say Watson, but I don't think
Watson. I don't think Watson was in that one.
that's yeah.
That was with Sherlock.
Yeah, Watson's with Sherlock.
But
Funny.
classic tale. But yeah, this is freaking awesome, man. I like
this.
it. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the lager.
Do you think it tastes?
That was at the exact same time. We placed it at the same time. We picked it up at the same time. This is getting scary.
You know what you can see how big a sips you take by when you look at the foam on the
Yeah.
side. If it's like you see the line and then foam, then the line.
There it is.
Yeah, about the same there.
What do they call that? The legs? Oh, that's in wine though, right? The
Nah,
legs.
that's the- yeah,
Is that wine?
Yeah, wine. Yeah,
The
oh,
legs.
it has nice legs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should do wine. Should we do wine?
No,
Okay.
nah,
got shot down
gives me
quick.
heartburn. Gives me too much bad
Got
heartburn.
shot down quick.
But I think it is perfect. Once again, we said that looks cold. The temperature on that is just perfect.
It is.
It makes you get such a crisp beer.
Applaud to your fridge, man.
Yeah, you get such a crisp beer at that temperature. It's just right.
Right.
It's just right,
Right.
guys.
You can't drink a warm Pilsner. It doesn't
Yes.
work.
Yeah. Let's get into the news. What is going on lately, man?
Nothing good.
Nothing good.
Nothing good ever
Nothing
happens.
Good. Nothing good. Nothing good.
Everything's bad and depressing. And
It is. There's always
Let me
something.
ask you a question before we get started.
Yeah.
Being that we're talking about this now because it's going to tie in.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about like mental health? How do you feel as a 40-something-year-old male? How is your mental health these days? Not to put you on the spot, asking you if you're. I don't want to know if you're.
Oh, I'll be the
How are
first.
you-
I always say I'm nuts.
I'm open. I'm open about it. So, how is your as a 40-year-old male? We have children. The way
Yeah.
the world's going, how is your mental health nowadays?
Um,
And I threw this on you.
you
without
can
talking
you
about it
you
prior.
yes. Well, you can easily lose it at times. I think
Do you feel yourself losing it more often?
no.
No?
I don't. Not
Okay.
as bad. Now, I feel like my patience have grown so
Really?
much.
That's interesting.
yes.
It's usually the other way around. Around this age, with
No.
the age of children we have, and
No, I think I think it's too because
Would your wife agree?
in a relationship, I think everyone takes on a role, and when your spouse is maybe a little bit more quick to jump at something,
right,
or something that might upset them,
right,
you might say, okay, it's a good cop, bad cop in a way.
Always.
You want to balance that role a little bit, so maybe I'll try to actually be a little bit more patient. But that was also the way I was raised. I mean, I was raised where, sometimes I felt like my father was a little too impatient, and
Right.
I'm like, I don't want to necessarily take that role. I don't want to follow that path because I knew how, as a child growing
Right.
up, how it made me feel.
right.
So I definitely want to, but then again, it just goes on how your day's going. To give my father maybe the benefit of the doubt, I mean, he might have had a rough day sometime at work. There's a lot of stress going on. These are things you don't think about when you're a kid.
Absolutely.
What was going on in his day of life? Who was giving him a hard time at work? Who was doing this? Who was doing that? You just don't know. Things can build up, and it's a day-to-day basis. One day you might feel happy and nothing's going to get in your way.
Right.
And then other days there could be a fly that lands on you and you start screaming and flipping out and kicking the wall and doing whatever. Who knows?
Right. Right.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I was just asking. I mean, my mental health as a 45-year-old, I feel like it's not in a good place.
Okay.
There's a lot of stress and anxiety, in daily life.
Yeah.
Which I'm not. Everybody's got stress and anxiety in their daily life. It's just how the world works.
Yeah.
Some people take it better than others, wear
Yeah.
it better than others. So I think I wear it well,
Mm-hmm.
but on the back end, sometimes you're just like, "Phew, man, I'm tired, I'm stressed,
Yeah.
I'm not in a good spot.
You know,
And it's just you got to keep on going.
Yes.
You can't act it out. You can't act crazy. You can't do crazy things. You kind of got to like deal with it.
You always, you got to let your brain work for you sometimes, and you let your almost like your subconscious. It's like you ever go to bed and not knowing something, and the next morning your mind pieces it together. That
Because you're relaxed now.
you're
rested.
relaxed.
Yes.
Your brain, have faith in your brain will do the work. It's crazy. So basically, look at the brain. Your brain is always working. So when you go to sleep at night, look at it as like, say you had 30 boxes in there and they're all shuffled all over the place.
Right.
So at night they're going shifting around, doing their thing. Because like I said, your brain is always working. That's hence why you have dreams and things are going on of that sort. Every once in a while, you ever hear the expression "sleep on it"?
Oh yeah, yeah.
And that's why that's where it came from. Sleep on it, because your brain, sometimes you just can't process things the same way.
Right.
My wife loves to have conversations, and sometimes at times deeper conversations or conversations about things that's agitating her at like 9:30 at night when I am winding down.
Right.
And I'll have to just once in a while, and I feel like a jerk, and I feel like I'm being rude, but I have to say, time out. I can't do this right now.
Right.
I am winding down. I can't, my mind is just not there. It's the end of the day. Things aren't functioning right. So there's a good chance I may say something I regret.
Right.
You know?
I hear you.
Let's nip it at the bud, and let's talk about it in the morning, because I'll have a fresher mind.
Yeah.
Things are processed. Things are better, and I think that's it.
See, I don't sleep. I sleep about 4 to 5 hours a night on a good night.
Yeah.
The mind is racing. I can't control it, and I get snappish, right? Because I'm so tired. I get snappish, and I think I don't know. I think everyday stresses and anxieties.
Yeah.
If you cannot control it, really takes a toll on your life.
Yeah.
And it catches up to you.
Well, you have to start nipping things at the bud. You have to figure out why you're not sleeping at night.
Right.
You have to see, what is it that's causing this? How can I fix it? And that's and start from there.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought drugs were the answer. It's not. I mean, no, I'm just joking.
I did mention to John that I do like to have bourbon as a nightcap.
So I've been trying that.
Yeah.
Right? A little bit. So my wife goes, do we have a problem? And I said, I just want to fucking go to sleep. Now, I'm going to say, lately I've been falling asleep faster, but waking up a couple hours later, and then that's it.
Yeah.
You know? So, I don't know. It's all about mental health. It's about how you perceive it. It's about what you do about it.
Yes.
Is it okay to be depressed one day, happy next day? Listen, this is life. This is the hand we're given.
Being human.
That's called being human.
Yeah.
What about now? There was a situation on a subway train.
Yeah.
A man with mental health was apparently making threats or being loud, and an ex-Marine decided, or Army, whatever he was, military, decided he was going to intervene and just help out, and this mental health, this person passed away.
Yeah. I don't remember if we touched on this, but if we did, forgive us. But I think the problem is, and I feel like I was saying, I wonder if we touched on this, because I feel like I made this comment already. The bottom line is, when it comes to this, but it might have been a different story, but
Yeah.
is that we don't know the whole story, unfortunately.
You never know the whole... Well...
When someone records, a lot of times, they start recording for a reason. They start recording because they see something about to happen.
Yes.
If they see something about to happen, that means there is maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes of unrecorded footage.
You're right.
This is something we always have to keep in mind.
Right, absolutely.
We do not know, except for the words that come out of their mouth, whoever did it, what happened before that. Yes. Apparently, in this case, with, what was his name, Jordan?
Jordan Neely.
Jordan Neely.
He was like a Michael Jackson impersonator in Times Square.
On his in his past good days.
Yes.
Not currently at that point.
Yeah. We'll go into him, but yeah.
Yes. So basically, what we understand is he was threatening people on the train. I don't know if he ever actually got physical. They say he, but we don't know.
We don't know.
That's the problem. People are too quick to listen to what he said, she said, and all this and that. But there's a truth to it all. And a lot of times that we don't know. We're not going to say if the guy who did it was telling the truth either. We're not sticking up for him. We're not sticking up for anyone. We're just saying that there could be some stuff that we didn't see that happened.
Yeah. This Jordan Neely guy, he was troubled.
He was very troubled.
He was homeless.
Yes.
He was on New York City's list, which, think about how many people and how many homeless people are in New York City. They have a list of about 20, 50 people maybe.
Yeah.
Who need help more than almost others. They're on listen, we got to, this guy's not good. We need to find him and figure out what to do with him.
Yes. And
he was on that list.
Yeah.
I don't know. He wasn't, I don't want to say he was a bad person. He was there was mental health problems.
Yeah.
You know? And it's just funny how it's funny to me now how after like this happens, he passed away.
Yeah.
Now his family's out. I want to, where were you to begin
Yes.
with when this guy was?
Where was he failed?
Were you trying to help him then?
Listen, we understand. The guy actually had I think it was his mother murdered or something like that. He had a pretty traumatic
crazy
past.
Yeah.
You know, as a child, his other family, were they there? Were they there to support him when this happened? Where did this start? There's a root to everything.
Sure.
And where did it start? And who failed him?
Right.
And a part of me is like, do you blame him? Do you blame
family?
Do you blame
society?
Yes, and to John's point, yes. After this happened, the family's coming out of the woodwork, and they're like,
They want justice.
He was a good man, and this and that, and he should be alive right now, and he should.
Why was he homeless?
Where were
you?
He was on the curb. He could have died any day out there.
Where were you?
Yeah, but now, no, it's because why? Because there's going to be a lawsuit involved probably at some point.
Somebody's going to make money.
Somebody's going to make money somewhere, and they got to get their money. And so that's the truth of it all, is do they really care? Do they really care what happened to him? Or do they care about what they can make out of this? Right. So just going to that topic, of the whole situation. What do you feel about the guy? I love how they throw in there that he was a Marine because everyone it's like it wants to they want to paint a picture in everyone's head like, oh, these Marines he had,
they're crazy,
they're nuts or this or that. First of all, these people are serving our country and they're doing this and they're becoming crazy because they're serving our country, because
our country's making them do shit that maybe they shouldn't be seeing or doing.
Yes, exactly. So once again, who do you blame for that? Who do you blame for this? Where's the root of it?
Right.
So, do you think he's guilty of murder, manslaughter, or any of that sort?
I'm going to be honest. I don't know. I don't know. It's almost like the George Floyd issue, right? The man was out of his mind. When is it time where you have a stranglehold on this person?
Yeah.
You start to feel him going limp. At what point do you maybe just let go?
Yeah.
Loosen up?
Yeah.
Hold him down?
Well,
you have this man in a situation where he can't do anything.
We don't know. So when you watch the video, and we can only go off the video, you see him have him in the hold, and you see people trying to hold his arms down.
Right. Jordan's arms.
Yes.
Right.
Then were they trying to hold his arms down because he was about to attack?
Because he was flailing them.
Or was he flailing because he couldn't breathe? You never know. You know what I mean? We're playing a little bit of devil's advocate here with this.
It's tough. It's tough.
But the bottom line is this. And it's doing something to us, and it's harmful what it's doing to us right now. The bottom line is this, just to start out with, is the guy was a little kooky. He was, I believe, that he was threatening people on the train because he said, "I don't care, I'll kill everyone here."
I believe so too.
That these are things he was murmuring, or saying, or whatever he was doing.
Right.
I think he was doing that, And here's where things get even worse with these. It's sad that he died. And I'll say that over and over and over again. Any human life that's taken, like any in any way, I'm not a fan of that stuff. And John knows, I'm not a fan of the death penalty or any of that. I think there's always something, even though I joke around about public lynchings and things like that, but I just feel like anyone and everyone as humans have the ability to change, and that one life shouldn't have the ability to take that of another.
Right. Nobody should be judge and jury where you can actually
take someone's life.
Right?
Yes. But in this case, here's where it's even stemming deeper into an issue that's going to happen in the future. A man is walking through a store, and he hears someone kind of a woman under her breath, maybe her mouth's getting covered and something's going on, something's fishy. It's going to start taking heroes away, because these people that are going to step in, break that door open.
They don't want to be involved.
Yeah, they're going to be, I don't want nothing to do with that. You see it all too often now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
People are like, oh, I'm going to get
that's
sued.
The people that are filming. They're not helping. They're filming.
Yes.
But they're not going to jump in.
Yeah, they're actually hurting the cause,
Right.
These people are filming are cowards half the time.
Right.
So, that's the whole thing. I was telling John the one time I was in a boardwalk and it was two homeless guys. I don't think I said it to you while we were filming or whatever. And there was just like these two homeless guys on the boardwalk, and they were like fighting each other. And then the one guy, he had the other one in the chokehold, and there was like an old guy that was trying to intervene.
Right.
And the wife was like
passerby.
Yeah, yes, it was just that I think he was an ex-cop because the wife said he's an ex-cop, and he was trying to intervene, and they were like pushing the guy or something like that. They were screaming stop, because then the guy was like choking the guy or whatever, and I was like, oh man, and this was years ago, and I was like,
if I only had my phone.
no, I went behind the one guy. I grabbed him, put him in the headlock, and I said, just get off him,
Nice, good for you.
It was one of those situations, and eventually got off or whatever, and that was it, and I walked away, and then I took 3 baths.
That's funny because that was going to be my next question to you. Would you intervene if you saw something going on?
In life, what's right is right, what's wrong is wrong. I don't think I can look at myself as a decent person, I guess. Maybe that's just the way I look at it, unless I step in and do what's right.
Okay.
It's tough. It's hard. There's always that fight or flight response, but I just say, God help me and do what I got to do. That's it, But yes, back to what we were saying, there's going to be people out there that are going to be like, yeah, they're just going to keep walking. They're just going to, because with all, and things like this, with trying to get this guy the worst sentence possible. He didn't go on the train that day saying,
I'm going to go kill
someone. He didn't get on the train.
He was trying to go from point A to point B.
He was just trying to have a normal day. He's not the one that disrupted things. He's not the one that didn't, anything but just tried to save someone who was threatening to kill people on the train and to just wait till the cops got there. He's like, let me hold this guy until the cops come because, this is not something I'm going to deal with right now. He's like, I just ate my jelly donut. I was feeling good. but he's got to know his limits as well, though. He has to know, but it's the heat of the moment. Who's going to say this much pressure or this much pressure
I know.
is going to kill someone?
Yeah, I know. It's a fine line. I feel like there's almost no right or wrong answer, right? Like he did say, do I regret what happened? I do. If I had to do it again, would I? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy was a threat. He was a threat to everybody. He was a threat to me, and I took care of business.
Yeah.
Did he mean to kill him? 100%. None of this, they don't mean to kill.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to say. I don't know.
And once again, we don't know what happened prior to that.
Yeah.
We don't know how physical or anything. They say, like I said, once again, they say, oh, you didn't do anything. He didn't harm a fly. Meanwhile,
going back to like people helping or walking away, you don't know what's the right thing anymore? So you're the guy now holding his arms down, right? To help the Marine, like, who's choking him. Now the Marine, or I'll say military guy, chokes out this kid. He dies. What about the guy holding the arms down?
Yeah.
You didn't
Is he
tell
an accessory to
right.
the crime
You
now?
didn't tell this guy, hey, maybe ease up because he's foaming at the mouth or he can't.
The bottom line...
His body went limp. I feel it. Maybe you should ease up.
Obviously, when the cops came, they didn't think it was... They let him go. They said, all right, man, do you, man. You know, it happens. It sucks.
They don't care anymore.
You know? Yeah.
And subway. I mean, anything has to do with the subway, New York City.
At least I will give the mayor there at the time had said, I'm going to let due process. You know, I'm going to let things happen. He's like, I'm not going to give my opinion on it. He also doesn't want to get on the bad, the side of,
which he already is.
Yeah. But,
you give this guy a pass?
I do. I would say I do. It's hard to say because if it's self-defense, I absolutely do.
Was it?
That's yeah.
The evidence is not there for that part.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Or maybe it is. We haven't seen, like you said, the whole thing. The news puts out what the news wants you to see. Maybe there is. I've been on juries before. I've been on federal. I've been on county. I've been on...
Alec Baldwin could be set free.
Alec Baldwin's got the money to pay.
Johnny Cochran. If he killed someone, then I think this guy's absolutely innocent. You know what I mean?
But I said I've been on juries before where it's not what they show you on TV.
Yeah.
You know, I was part of a jury, a federal grand jury, who had to prosecute these cops for something, and the same story that was on the news wasn't really what was going on inside the jury room.
Yeah.
What we saw.
Yeah.
It was bits and pieces.
Yeah.
And it's just you don't.
That is the problem.
You don't know
when it comes to this. I mean, I think let due process let them do what they got to do. We don't know the full story.
No, but you got 40% of New York. I don't know why I lifted that paper. You got 40% of like people in New York, children, young, black and even white teenagers, early 20s, protesting.
Yeah.
Causing violence. He didn't deserve to die. He didn't deserve. What? But what are you? Are you all backing him, or are you all just out trying to make your own story?
They're trying to make. Okay, I'm going to say.
Are you trying to make life difficult?
Are you all not blind? Every day someone's getting murdered. Every day someone's doing something. Why don't you protest for, this or that or that? There's so many other,
Right.
Just because it hit the news, guys, you don't stop being sheep. Stop following what the news is telling you to do and what you should protest or what you should do. Come on.
Are these people looking to just make news?
Yeah. There's always an agenda to everything.
Right.
Media has their agenda. They all have their agenda. There's always an agenda. But like I said, there's plenty of people. I mean, yes, I guess the difference is between someone that's murdering someone on the street. In this case, was that the guy who was doing the choking is going to be let free, I guess. But still, there's still a lot of injustices out there that there's no protest for.
Yeah.
It's always...
And I consider it close to the George Floyd thing.
Yeah.
The what's the other guy in New York a few years ago? In Stalin, Eric
Garner.
Eric Garner.
Yeah.
They're almost all the same things, right? They were all choked out.
Yeah.
And every single person has been found guilty.
Yeah.
So I do not think that this military man.
Yeah, but those were all cops, so I think that was a little bit different.
Yeah, I get it.
Because of their position, and if they're the cops, and this guy wasn't a cop. He was a good Samaritan trying to defuse a situation.
Yeah,
he just did it a little too passionately. But I would love to see a toxicology on the guy too. I don't know. Did they have one out there too? How was he drugged? Was he?
Oh, not yet. That takes a while. Yeah.
Yeah. What was involved in this particular situation? Right. The bottom line is, once again, people, we do not know all the facts. We don't know what happened before. We don't know what happened after. We don't know what drugs were involved. We don't know every little detail. We're not I thank God most of the public aren't going to be the ones in the jury because, I feel like some people just are too quick to jump to conclusions.
Yeah. it's just another thing. Like we mentioned a couple weeks ago with the the immigrants and people coming over. We need to take care of ourselves. There's too many mentally disabled people that are sleeping on the streets and walking around.
And it goes back to why I said who failed who.
Right.
Maybe the system failed them.
Yeah.
Maybe he should have got help earlier.
I'm 40-something years old. I don't want to go into the city anymore because I don't want to deal with that.
Yeah.
I don't want my children to see it.
Yes. Yeah, you see.
People make fun of me. Oh, you're a baby. You're scared. No. It's not that I'm scared. I don't want my children to see it. I don't want to be involved.
Well, I
don't want to have to make that decision whether I got to choke out a guy or walk away. I don't want to make that decision.
Yeah, that's all you need is to be walking down the street with your daughter. There's some homeless guy jacking off on the side of this road, which happens.
And then I'm going to choke him to death, and now I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
I don't want to make that decision that day.
And that happens. It happens. It's common. They do it. They walk around with their pants down, too. They do things. And then you go to, like, Times Square, and you have these women with their just a thing covering their nipples or whatever. You know?
It's all right for the naked cowboy and the naked cowgirls to walk around with, the little nibble pasties on. It's society's so
you can't bring it. At least 42nd they cleaned up something.
They did, but
thanks, Giuliani.
One of the good things he did. Yeah. Let's bring back Giuliani. I don't know. I don't know. There's so much mental health.
Yeah.
I feel off on days. I can't imagine my mental health is not great right now. I can't imagine not having a home, not being able to provide for my family, not having a meal, having to sleep on the street.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's just.
Yeah. Well, I look at things a lot of times like this, and is that life is too short.
I say it all the time.
Life is way too short. Enjoy what you have. Enjoy the time you have. Be thankful for the time you have. Be thankful for having a roof over your head. Be thankful. There's so much to be thankful for. And also, in 100 years, no one's going to remember who the hell you were.
Exactly.
So,
and you know what? Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Nobody cares. It's about what have you done for me lately or my own life right now.
Yeah.
Nobody cares. Nobody's going to care until you.
Yeah. What do we got?
I say that. Sorry. I'm sorry. I just say that with like my children now, right?
Yeah.
So, I'm and I say it all the time. I coach a lot of sports. I'm the vice president of the softball. I'm the vice president of basketball. My dad's the president of and I did this because growing up, my parents didn't come to my soccer games, my football games, my bowling games. My friends' parents were the coaches, and I was jealous of that. So I was like, let me do that now. I have the time. I got so involved. I'm too involved where it's stressing me out.
That's why
it's like, right, but it's like, are my kids appreciating this?
Yeah.
Right now, no. 30 years from now, maybe.
I don't know because
is it worth it?
My father coached me, and I'm not a coach, and I don't know if I ever want to be a coach. So I don't know.
See, I didn't have it, so I'm like, oh man, I feel bad. All my friends' parents are coaches. They're at the games. My parents weren't really there.
But also, I don't know. With my son, it's like, he's still so young. I don't know which role I'll take on later on. If even he wants to play sports in the future, I don't know these things. So I mean, Ken now might be different Ken, and
absolutely.
when my son's your kid's age,
But it will come fast, my friend. It will come fast.
Yes.
Anywho,
do.
Enough with that.
Yes.
My mental health says right now I need a beer. Another beer. This is Volkswagen.
Volkswagen.
No, it is Volksgarten.
Volksgarten.
The same brewery, Schilling Beer Company over in New Hampshire, Littleton, New Hampshire.
Thanks again, Dom.
Thanks again, Dom. This is a Vienna Lager.
Ooh, look at that sweat.
Look at that sweat.
And it's not even warm down here.
I'm gonna make you sweat till you bleed. Ooh. Is that dope enough?
Dope enough.
Indeed. You don't even know the song. 4.9%. It's a Vienna lager. Went from a Pilsner to a lager. No IPAs today.
No peas.
No sleep too. This looks good. Yes, sir.
Just when I thought that one was the best one, yes. That one's the best one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Crisp, clean, delicious, cold.
If there were more of these around,
it's fantastic.
IPAs would be on the back burner.
Yeah.
This is good.
Yeah. Solid.
Dom, thank you.
Damiano, Tommy, don't forget about us, buddy. All right? We're right here, okay?
Come on the goddamn show already. At least your hand. Sit over here.
Yes.
I haven't seen you in months. Pilsners, lagers, It's just the way to go right now.
Yeah.
The IPA wave maybe is slowing down a little bit.
Maybe. I think it is. Especially with the warmer weather, I think we're more into those pilsners. Or crisper beers. Not to say pilsners, but, just nice
Crisp beers. Not
light,
those heavy
refreshing. Yeah.
beers.
Yep.
Beers.
So the other day I was watching, I don't know, if it was like Dateline or one of those things. It was like 2 hours or whatever. They had the guys from, remember the movie Alive?
Alive. That's the South American Uruguay or
Yeah, Uruguay. Yeah.
Uruguay. Sorry,
Uruguay and
the rugby team.
yes,
Rugby or soccer?
rugby,
Rugby.
and they were
We're
flying.
watching the movie.
Yeah, they were flying to Chile,
Yes.
and they're crossing the Andes and all that fun stuff. But yeah, it was that movie. So they actually had the guys on the show. There was five. I think it was 5 or 6 of them.
Wow, what are they now? They're old now, right?
Yeah,
This was in the 80s?
70s.
Oh, it was the 70s.
But they were like, so say they were like, it was like 72 or something like that.
72. Yeah?
Maybe it was around that time,
Okay.
and they were on like a rugby team that was like maybe it was like a men's league. Maybe, I think they were like 20s in like
Okay.
or early 20s or something.
So they're in their like 60s now. No,
70s.
more. Yeah, 70s.
Yeah,
Wow.
so yeah, 70s would make sense. They all look like they were about in their 70s.
Okay.
And
What's left of them anyway?
so basically, it was these guys back in the 70s, and they were it was like an exhibition thing. They would go to Chile all the time and play this. I don't know if it was a tournament or a game. Maybe it was just a game against Chile or something. But anywho, regardless, and they were making the trek. There was some turbulence, all this stuff, and then they end up having to go back over towards the Andes, and there's a lot of clouds, and they hit the mountain. And they lost a lot of people initially. And they basically, these were, the survivors were just kids. They were in their like 20, 21, They were just they didn't take survival classes. They were from a warm country in the Andes, was freezing cold, so they weren't too familiar with the cold either, for that matter. Right. The one guy was joking around. He's like, my girlfriend had knit me a sweater, and he's like, I'm never going to wear this, And then he had it with him, and he ended up having to use it and everything. So, but it was pretty messed up. It was pretty messed up to the point.
It's the reason I don't fly.
Oh yeah. Well, they were John. They were flying the like a smaller charter, I guess you would say.
Don't matter.
And it was, but it was someone who apparently had experience flying over the Andes quite a few times. That's always a story. But it came down to they were at that point where it was life or death. They said they actually could feel their body starting to consume itself. That's how starvation works. It starts to feed on it. Your body starts to feed on itself. First your fat, then your muscles, and then it'll start to get into your organs. And when you get into those organs, that's when you eventually just die.
Sure.
And that was kind of at the point they were at, and they didn't have food. They had some water, but could only live so long on water. But they had water. They figured that when the sunlight hit,
eat the snow, man.
Well, they were doing that, but they said because it was so cold, their lips were like getting deteriorated. It was so like their tongues were freezing.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and so they, I guess, certain times of the day when the sun was hitting the aluminum of the plane, they put snow there and it was dripping a little, so they actually were able to accumulate some water. But they got to the point where they had to talk, and they said, "Who is okay with?"
There were casualties.
Yeah, there were casualties.
Nobody was killed. There were casualties.
No one was ever killed by another man's
Just
hands.
Say that in case you don't know.
Yes. The story. And these bodies, they took all the bodies out of the plane, and they were basically sitting out there.
Not everybody survived the wreckage.
And they were frozen.
Right.
So they got to the point where they said, okay, do we try to start eating some of the flesh? Or, so they started with the back, and they're eating the, so they some of them were like, I can't do this. They can't do it for religious reasons. I can't do it. But when it came to life or death, they all said, we have to do what we have to do. Yep. And they ate their teammates, some of them, or
I remember the movie, them cutting like from the thighs and from the the meaty parts in it.
Yes,
it's just like
there was
like jerky.
There was more to it. Yeah,
I'm sure. Yeah, they can't show that in the movies. But.
No, which I didn't realize probably because I watched the movie. But so they end up doing it, and that's how they survived. And do you want to know how? Do you want to know how long they were gone for?
Yeah, I don't remember.
Can you guess?
2 months? 3 months?
No, it wasn't 3 months, but you had
60 days?
Closer to 70. I think it was 72 days.
Wow.
And this is the Andes, freezing cold.
Wow.
Them in a half-broken plane. So in between that, though, so there was a lot more of them. In between that, they got hit by an avalanche.
Oh, I remember that in the movie. They showed that in the movie.
Yeah.
Right.
Avalanche came, killed more people. They ended up in the plane, stuck in the plane, and they had to eat the people that died from the avalanche.
It's crazy.
Because they were stuck in there for so long until finally they but it was 2 avalanches. I think one got in the plane, so they were stuck in the plane.
Yes.
And then the second one covered the plane.
Yes.
So that they were underground.
Yes. They showed that.
God, talk about claustrophobia, man.
Mm-hmm.
I would have just fainted and said, "Eat me now." But,
guys, eat me first.
Yeah, eat me. Well, that was the thing, and that was part of the discussion.
Eat me first.
They had said to each other, and they said, like, they say his name was Joe. Joe, if I die,
eat me.
Eat me. Yeah, that's okay. I'm fine with it.
Did they eat the penis?
I don't know if they ate the penis, but
just wondering.
Right.
But as we talked before, you said they were eating part. They don't talk about in like the movie.
Yeah,
they were eating more than what.
They had to start.
I was in shock.
They had to start eating like livers and kidneys.
I did not.
And the one guy actually mentioned eating brain, and he
said that
he was. And this was a little odd to me.
Break open the skull?
I don't. They had an axe. That's how they were cutting the meat. So the one guy had said, he's like, I'm surprised that brain actually tasted okay. Like, it was a weird comment, but I was like, but yes, it was the one guy said, he kept saying,
man.
He said it over and over again, how anyone that looks at me crooked, anyone that looks, if you were in my shoes, you would do the same thing.
Put yourself in their shoes.
Yes.
It's life or death.
Yes. You're going to die. And
I'm about to chow down. If we were dying together,
I'm
chowing down, man. I'm chowing down.
I don't have an ass, but I have nice thighs and calves.
That's what I'm going for. The dark meat.
Take it. Just keep away from my sausage. But there's not much there anyways. But it's crazy what they had to do. But they had mentioned this. So they had a radio, and the 2 guys had to climb. It was like a mountain right there. It took them 3 days just to climb the one mountain.
Remember that in the movie?
Yeah. And they had to climb the mountain. They had to climb and climb. Finally, they made it to like a river, and some old guy was across the river that they saw, and they're screaming across the river, and they threw a note over telling them a story. The old guy's like, "I'll come back tomorrow." At that point, they're like, "Whatever. I don't. What's one more day?"
Yeah.
So, so the other guys that stayed while the people who went to get the rescue. Had access to like some kind of radio that they had, and they said they heard about them coming, and that they, and they got excited. Oh my God, we're gonna get saved! We're gonna get saved! And
who was that actor? Who was the main guy?
I don't know. I forget. I haven't watched the movie in a long time. But he said we got to do a little cleaning up before the helicopters come to save us, because there was bones and all this stuff all over the place, and blood in the snow. It was like a butcher shop in front of the, because they were living like savages, because they had to.
Yeah.
What were we going to say? I'm sorry.
I'm wondering if they thought that they were going to get in trouble for doing that, even though it was survival. Was their first thought was
they thought they were going to get
in trouble for this.
Trouble like with law per se. I think it was more they were very religious men. Okay. Would be like, how does this look in the eyes of God?
Ethan Hawke.
Was it Ethan Hawke?
Ethan Hawke.
Oh, I didn't know that he was in that.
Josh Lucas, Vincent Spano. Yeah. All right. Cool. Yeah, Ethan Hawke was the main guy.
All right. I'll have to rewatch that.
Yeah, me too. And you know what? I always wanted to read up on it. Maybe I'll get the book. Maybe I'll check out the book. Because what you're saying was They don't say that stuff in a movie. They keep it cleaner because it's a movie.
Yeah.
They're not going to show them cutting them open and taking out their livers and their
it
brains.
was.
I didn't know it went that far.
Oh yeah, and I didn't
And you
know
said
either.
this was 2020, or is that what you said? 2020, the interview.
Oh, I don't know if it was. It was. I was watching Channel 7, so
Okay.
whatever,
All right.
whatever one is, if that's Dateline or 2020 is on Channel 7. That's for
I
sure.
might,
'Cause
I
know
might, I might
David
look it up
Merritt
and
does
check it out because I would like to see the.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you can Hulu. Probably Hulu.
Yeah, okay.
Or something. Or yeah, I'm sure they have it somewhere. You can DVR.
No, I've always been interested in that. That whole story is just crazy.
Yeah, I actually had totally intended on watching something else, and it came on after like another show I was watching. I'm pretty sure it was Channel 7, and I was like, all right, now I'm because I watched the movie. I had an interest in it. But I guess I know the answer to the question, John, and it's kind of why I had originally brought this up. Would you, if put in that position, would you eat human flesh?
I think I would.
Yeah.
And I had mentioned too to you that maybe it was a little different because it was frozen.
To
If it wasn't to
you.
did I say that?
Well, I think you said it right, but I'll make it funny.
If it was normal defrosted flesh, it's going to be slimy. It's going to be bloody. It's going to be nasty.
Yes.
Being that it was frozen,
Yes.
it was more maybe like I don't want to say an ice pop, but the texture was different.
It's like a quick chew and swallow, maybe.
Yeah. I don't know what the taste would be. Would I do it? I think I would.
But it became, like I said, it became normal where when I said the avalanche hit, they were just eating
Can you
on.
pass the left toe?
Yes.
Is anybody gonna eat the toe? It's like
Oh,
Three Amigos. Are you gonna eat the wings, Dusty? Dusty, do you mind if I get? I'll take the wing.
You know, Javier always had the nicest toes. Let me get one of those.
Wow, that is good armpit, man. That tricep. Woo!
Ooh, no, stay away from that armpit. He hasn't played deodorant in the last
He
65
must have worked
days.
out. I'm
Yes.
full.
But all jokes aside, I guess what it comes down to is I would just have to be put in that situation.
I don't want to die, so
Yeah.
I would probably be the guy that's like, yeah,
Life or death? Yeah.
I'll start the cut.
I'll take the femur.
What do you want? I'll slice it thin. We'll put it on some bread.
Yeah. It's sad. It's so sad.
Well, it's
and
sad
just
that's what it came down to, but
and it's just, I mean,
they did what they did to
talk
survive.
about they were physically fit human. Like they were, if someone was going to survive, if this was like a Survivor challenge, that's who you'd want. Is like a men's rugby team who are badass just to begin with, tough guys, and in their early 20s, can handle mostly any kind of condition.
I believe I read, correct me if I'm wrong, it's in the general area anyway. The body can live without water for, I believe, 30 days or 20 days, but can only live without food for 30 days until it breaks down.
Yeah, it starts to break down.
And, hey, just like the subway train, you got to do what you got to do to survive. This military guy maybe thought his life was in danger, and he did what he did to survive.
Yes. That's what it comes down to.
You do what you got to do, man.
Fight or flight,
Let's do it.
Unless that flight crashes into the Andes.
And our trip is canceled. Thanks. Putting that into my head.
Oh, yeah.
What do we got today? Let's go a little heavier.
Yeah.
We don't need that.
All right. He's talking about our next
God
topic.
bless us, everyone.
Not the bourbon. We've had some Nulu on here before.
Yes.
But
We are into this.
John was so into it. In fact, John had a beer not too long ago that he came across that he's like, ooh, it's got notes of cinnamon. And
I looked at the ingredients.
and it turned out to have Amburana.
Amburana.
So like I said, we've had Nulu on the podcast, but we haven't had this particular Nulu. This is a Nulu finished in Amburana. Amburana seems like the hot stuff lately. We've been seeing like a little bit of an uptick of it.
It's a natural cinnamon flavored tasting.
It's Brazilian
wood.
oak. Brazilian oak, which has hints of cinnamon in the oak, I guess. I don't know, but yeah, there's been some hot things going on. Just like I had mentioned to John before. This is one that came out recently. It's a Penelope Rio.
So
Everyone is going gaga over
You're
looking.
going to show that.
Yeah, I'm just saying. It's another one. I'm just talking about the Amburana kick, and this is one that's finished in Amburana and honey barrels. So
Will that ever get open?
I don't know. I'm still trying to think about what I'm going to do because it's my only bottle. And I wanted to see if it got a little bit more mainstream, and if there's a batch 2, then I'd rather open a batch 2 because the batch 1's going to be, more valuable.
Experimental.
Yes, so, or something. So that's why I'm kind of on the fence. Johnny, we've got this one coming in at 55%.
Perfect.
It's a 7-year.
I like it.
And this one I had got on a trade or something. This one's from a Binny's Beverage Depot, which we don't have around here. So it's obviously not from New Jersey.
And it's obviously open, so you've had it.
I have had it. I'm going to not lie and say I've never tried it, but I have.
Yes. I smell it right off the bat.
So
it's sweet right off the bat.
Yeah. So, this one, I don't know. I'm kind of go back and forth which one I like the best out of the ones I've had recently as far as Amburana goes.
You smell that. Obviously, you've had it, but...
Yeah. It's cinnamon. It's caramel.
Dude,
It's
like walking into a candy store.
It's like sweetened condensed milk. I don't know, man. It's
Blood orange?
Cinnamon Toast Crunch in my face. Yeah, it's fantastic smell. Good notes,
It is. It's
man.
dessert, man.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers, man.
That's fantastic.
It is, right?
I think I found my new thing. Like I do.
I've been on. I've
Oh
been.
my God, the back end of that. It takes me like my childhood. It's like it's sweet
Because he drank bourbon as a child.
No, it's sweet, dude. There's so much sweetness in this.
It's fantastic. So after I opened this one,
It's a little.
I was on a hunt and I picked up. I was able to get I think 2 more bottles of this Amburana finished Nulu. Because I was like, it's fantastic.
I almost taste like Eggo waffles, like the cinnamon ones, the little minis. Like I don't know. There's something there that like it's just it's hitting me. Like I know this taste.
And the crazy thing is, it's just bourbon in wood.
in a special type of wood.
It's just a type of wood.
All right, question. That type of wood you said is Brazilian
oak.
oak.
Yeah.
Isn't bourbon supposed to be stored in American?
Yes. So that goes back to what we have always said, is that, like, how does barrels of straight bourbon whiskey are put? So that's where the loophole is here.
So they were finished in
It was bourbon.
bourbon.
So that's why they start out with barrels of straight bourbon whiskey are put into various wine, brandy, and cognac barrels for months at a time. We taste them diligently to ensure the finish is heavily present throughout the nose. So they're not being specific on that statement because one was finished in Amburana. But yes, it's bourbon whiskey. Look at the way it's worded. Once again, bourbon whiskey. Finished in Amburana barrels.
Right.
They don't want to take bourbon out of the name, but essentially this is not bourbon, but it was bourbon. Because bourbon, to be called bourbon, has to go through that process, certain process.
But it did go through that process. It just ended a little differently.
Yeah. Bottled by PCS Distilling Company out of Baxter Avenue in Louisville. I wonder if they have a tasting room.
Maybe we should find out.
We should find out.
I really like this.
Yeah.
This is probably one of my favorites we've done in a while.
I think anything that's Amburana has been one of your favorites. So
Crazy. Maybe that's what I need. It's the sweetness.
I don't even know if it's a sweetness that you're tasting or it's.
I don't know either.
Yeah. Or it's just that.
It's good shit.
It's just that the barrel. Bourbon's always
Do you
gonna be
taste bacon on like the back end?
no bacon. No.
Like not a bacon, like something like there's
I'm
there's a little bit of
getting-
smoke additive in there.
I'm getting like little.
It's pure sweet, but there's almost like a breakfasty taste on the back end.
I'm getting like more of like a rice pudding back end or something.
Whoa. Yeah, no, that's totally opposite spectrum.
Yeah.
I'm getting like a breakfasty.
Yeah. Well, it's
Like
all.
I want to eat my waffles and my syrup and
Yeah.
my bacon, and then have this as the beverage.
Right. I guess I can see that. Yeah. Good. Regardless. So.
Good regardless.
Yeah.
I can't find that though. If I go to the store, I'm not gonna find that
No.
because I want that.
Yeah, it's good.
You have a backup, you said?
I have. I tell John all the time. I said, just whenever you come here, ask me for a glass. I'll give you a glass. I'm not gonna, I'm not giving you my bottles, but nor
Your milkshake brings all the boys to the yard.
Oh yes, they will. And it's better than everyone else's. Yeah. All right. I think that it's about that time. Let's give our shout outs here. Dom, thanks again.
Thank you, Dom.
Schilling Beer Company.
Good stuff.
Thank Dom too because he got you to us.
Yeah, all our followers.
Yeah. Thank you, Nulu. Fantastic. Keep doing what you're doing, man, with these barrel finished bourbons, even though they're not bourbons. Anyways, and what else, John?
That's it, man.
You know-
I don't want to shout out anything else.
No,
Our
guys-
other topics were a little.
Yes. All we're gonna say is, guys, use your brain.
Use your brain.
Try to look at things a little deeper once in a while, and look at things with a little bit, with your eyes a little bit wider open, because the bottom line is we don't know the whole story in life. We don't know what's going on. Right. We don't know why someone flipped out on you at the register because maybe they just lost their parent. That's just the way it is sometimes.
If you're struggling with mental health, there's always people and doctors and whatever phone numbers you can call, talk to people, send a comment, talk to me. I don't care. I struggle for mental health all the time. I'm not afraid to admit it. It's not something to be disappointed in or, afraid to talk about. And we live our lives accordingly. And we just got to deal with it. And we got to deal with it in
Sometimes
a
you
positive
just
manner.
got to laugh at life, too. And
You do.
You're having a bad day, something, you trip, you fall, and you just laugh.
You get up, you laugh, and you get up, and you
Is that all you got?
Is that Daniel Day-Lewis?
I don't know. But that's how it is.
That's how it is.
That's it.
Shout out to you guys.
You'll do all right.
You'll do all right.
Cheers
to you, Ken.
All right. Cheers, guys.
Peace.